You know, next thing you know, you're on the ground looking up. It's incredible. He's a unique fighter, and I agree with Jim. I don't think he's going to have a real fight till he jumps up the super featherweight.
And he appears to be living up to all the hype that we keep putting on it. This could be special. Next up, the WBC World Super Middleweight title defense by Robin Reid against Henry Wharton. Robin Reid then, Jim, we've spoken about him during the week, young champion, the glamour boy in some ways to rival Nassim Hamed.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the work, what does he bring to the job?
Well, I think he's far more skillful than Wharton, but I just don't think he has the experience that's required. I think that's the big problem here. I think he has to inflict as much damage as he can in the first 6 rounds of the fight. I think after 6 rounds, I would say Reid has to have 4 of them in the bank with a couple of rounds to coast, because Wharton is a real good 12-round fighter. He has the experience over the 12 rounds. Reid has only gone 8 rounds, and he's only done that once. So he has to get himself in front early and give him a couple of rounds maybe to coast.
Yes, interesting, but he has been surprising us, Nicky, hasn't he? We've looked at him critically, and he's answered the questions that we've said about.
Yeah. I mean, but Reid, in his last fight, will have to improve measurably on that last performance. He boxed blown up light middleweight in Pretorius, and his defence was very, very leaky. Admittedly, he won't take Wharton so lightly. Maybe he was overconfident last time.
Well, he knows all about Henry Wharton's qualities. Mandatory challenger for this WBC title, a Commonwealth champion, and Henry has given very good account of himself already in world title opportunities, hasn't he, Barry?
Yeah, he certainly has. He's a real battler. Now, he's a tough cookie and a very, very strong guy.
What are the key features of this one?
Yeah, well, we're trying to compare these guys. Reid is, 23 professional fights and hasn't been beaten up to now, and his strength is, he's showed in the Pretorius fight, real power, one punch finishing power there, and his accuracy and finding the target was great. His timing was excellent as well. He had to take a few shots too and showed a good chin, but he is inexperienced, and they had to do much of his growth under the magnifying glass, and there is a question mark over his stamina, because he did show signs of being 6s and 7s a few times. Henry Wharton, one tough cookie, very, very strong, and his big asset is his left hook, fabulous left hook, and also his ability to absorb punches. He's a real durable guy, and tenacious, determined, keeps on, sticks to his task. But his weakness is the fact that, he is easy to hit and a little bit one-dimensional and predictable.
Thank you, Barry. Henry Wharton, well, he's been through it a few times, and of course for all of these fighters there's the family concern as well. Robin Reid has his mother, Lynn, at ringside tonight, we hear. I wonder if we can see her. No, we can't see her just yet. Just one other feature. Everybody's talking about this as an even money fight in so many ways. Well, the respective managers certainly think that it's that close. Frank Warren and Mickey Duff both settling on an even money 50,000 ahead. Mickey Duff generally only backs his own man when he really feels very, very confident. Bookmakers can hardly separate them. Robin Reid 5-4 on Henry Wharton, even money, and the draw a 25-1 outsider. Here's Robin Reid's mum, Lynn. She's seen the young boy come on so strong in the last 6 months to a year. I know what it feels like. You can hardly watch. Well, the boy goes to work next.
Speaking of happiness, you never thought of mine. Mentioning loneliness, I feel lonely all the time. Speaking of happiness, why did it have to leave? Speaking of faithlessness, why couldn't you just leave? I love you so very much.
Prince Nassim Hamed, the prince who is king. He's undisputed. level, unbeatable. Outside the ring, he's even more explosive. Experience the personality and the power. Meet the real Naseem Hamed, the prince who is king. Fight now on video.
My husband's hair didn't always look this healthy. He used to have dandruff. Some anti-dandruff shampoos didn't leave his hair looking as healthy as he wanted. Then he discovered new Pantene anti-dandruff shampoo.
Its anti-dandruff formula works on the scalp to help get rid of dandruff, while provitamin B5 nourishes at the root and penetrates all the way to the tip.
Now his hair is dandruff-free and healthy-looking.
New Pantene Pro V anti-dandruff for hair that looks so healthy it shines.
Ronseal floor varnish, easy to apply and makes wooden floors beautiful and tough. Ronseal floor varnish, it does exactly what it says on the tin.
Take it down.
It's the final of the Pilkington Cup. Leicester.
They've gone absolutely wild here.
Take on Safe.
They're on their way to Twickenham.
The Cheshire team have been on the ball all season, and victory in this game would be a sensation. But in Leicester, they face a team of proven cup pedigree, chasing a fifth Pilkington success. For both sides, though, defeat is not an option. Can Sale silence the Tigers' roar? The Pilkington Cup final next Saturday at 2, live on Sky Sports 1.
Major world title fight coming up here at the 9X, and back at ringside already, Prince Naseem Hamed. A short night's work complete. He knocked out Billy Hardy in just 1 minute 25 seconds, hardly breaking sweat again tonight. But surely in the coming fight, either fighter is going to have to work a lot harder to carry off the spoils. WBC World Super Middleweight title defense by Robin Reid now, and Glenn McCrory and Ian Darke after Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the third time tonight, it's World Championship Boxing. Coming to the ring, the challenger, Henry Wharton.
Well, twice before, Henry Wharton has made this journey to the ring to fight for the World Championship. Twice before, he's failed against Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. Tonight, will he become champion at the third time of asking? Long time ago, when he was 12, his dad Billy, who's somewhere here at ringside tonight, told him that he had the talent to go all the way and would be crowned a champion. Hasn't happened yet. Tonight, he's convinced that this will be his time. Is he right, Glenn?
Well, it's a very good, even match. I think it's a terrific match on paper, and I think everybody really looking forward to this. He's had two other opportunities to win world title against Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, and I think in his own mind, you know, they were big names and he didn't quite believe. Well, I think this is a much better opportunity for him. He's confident. You know, he's got that self-belief, that maturity now.
He has thousands of fans here from the Leeds and York area. They've travelled across the Pennines. He's got one of the biggest supporters clubs in British boxing, and he's one of the most charming men that you could ever wish to meet. Very, very likeable, hugely popular. In fact, if popularity won world titles, this man would have been a champion a long time ago. He's a very hard, experienced pressure fighter with a great left hook. He says tonight he will ask Robin Reid questions that Reid has never been asked before. Year-old Henry Wharton in his third and surely last chance to become WBC super middleweight champion of the world.
And now to the ring, the champion,
Well, here comes 26-year-old Robin Reid, cast as one of the glamour boys of British boxing. There have been those who've said in the past that he's a bit of a pretty boy who won't like it in the trenches. But I think he's given the lie to that already with a series of very good wins, particularly the last two.
Yes, he's proved he's got the temperament for the job. He's proved that, you know, he's got the looks, but he's got the bottle to stand and have a fight with opponents, and he's proved he's tough. Very, very capable. I think this is really his first major test, and if he can get past Henry Wharton, he'll go on to be a big, big star.
Robin Reid from Runcorn in Cheshire, although he lives in Bolton these days, making his second defence of the WBC super middleweight crown. He's won his last 7 by stoppage. Both his world title wins have come in the 7th round. Tail of the tape, Wharton the older man by 3 years at 29. Wharton's a bit taller, although it's Reid who has the longer reach. Wharton had to strip naked to make the 12-stone limit, but he's very comfortable, the caps say, no problems. Reid well inside, nearly 2 pounds. Wharton has only had 4 more fights, though he's been around a lot longer. 28 fights in 8 years for Wharton. Wharton, though, has boxed a lot more rounds, including 5 12-rounders, whereas Reid has never been beyond 8. Reid with a higher knockout percentage, though they're both fair punchers. Mandatory 8 count and no 3 knockdown rule here. WBC rule, so that's different from the WBO. There is not a 3 knockdown rule in operation.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Knox Arena here in Manchester, England, for the 3rd time tonight, Mr. Frank Warren for Sports Network Europe and Sky Television, in association with Adidas, ART, and the Sun newspaper, present a World Championship boxing event, sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge of this bout, Mr. Dennis Houghton, MP. This bout is also sanctioned by the World Boxing Council. Supervisor ringside is John Morris. Timekeeper assigned is Colin Roberts. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Daniel Van de Wheeler of Belgium, Ray Solis of Mexico, and Richie Davies of England. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action is Larry O'Connell of England. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold. His weight, 12 stones. His professional record, 25 victories, 19 KOs. He has 16 KOs in 6 rounds or less, with 2 defeats and 1 draw. He comes to us from York, England. Here is the Commonwealth champion and WBC #1 ranked super middleweight challenger in the world, Henry Wharton. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with white, weighing 11 stone, 12 1/4 pounds. His professional record also excellent 23 victories without a loss, with 1 draw, 18 KOs to his credit, 15 knockouts in 6 rounds or less. From London, England, here is the undefeated WBC Super Middleweight Champion.
Well, every expectation that this could be a classic. We hope so. Referee is Larry O'Connell. London jeweller. Reid, freshness. Wharton's experience. Reid, a world champion, maybe ahead of his time. Wharton's last chance. Between them, they've scored 60 knockdowns in their career, and only Wharton has been floored, and just once by Vincenzo Nardiello. 12 rounds in what a lot of people hope will be the fight of the night, and maybe an epic. Let's see. Reid is the one with the white stripe down the side of his black shorts.
You'd think that Reid's game plan's got to be to box here, use his jab, just get into this fight and box all he can.
Yes, both Ben and Eubank, when they beat Wharton, did it with some slick boxing. Sparkling display, particularly by Eubank, one of the best of his career. And that was in Manchester as well. It's the first time Wharton's been back in the city since that night in 1994, his last world title opportunity. Wharton was saying to me, though, in Tenerife, where he's been training, don't underestimate my boxing skills as well. I'm not just a walk-forward left hooker.
No, he was a good amateur. He's got a good pedigree right throughout. It was only the good boxing of Ben and Eubank that he couldn't really cope with. And Eubank did it with a superb jab that night. But neither of them elected to have a fight with Henry Wharton. That's the respect for his punching power.
Reid, too, was a top amateur Olympic bronze medalist, and we haven't had too many of those, have we, in recent times? Good countering right there from Wharton, but Reid answers it with a nice right hand of his own. The suspicion is that Reid probably has the superior skills, but he's never been beyond 8 rounds, and he's never been dragged into a fight with somebody as tough as Wharton, who's likely to put him under severe pressure as this goes on. There are so many questions to be answered in this one.
Also, Wharton's very big and strong. He's been a light heavyweight before, but you know, he just made the weight the second time when he had to strip off to do so. So he's big and strong at the weight.
I don't think he's tight at the weight at all, though. I think it was just a little discrepancy with the scales.
No, I think he's a good, solid super middleweight.
Almost a battle of the left jabs in this opening round. They both had their successes with that shot. It's a cagey start.
Reid's using the jab well, Ian. He just seems to using that extra reach a little better at this stage.
Just finding a couple of different angles, keeping on the move as well, not just standing there in front of Wharton, because that would be playing into his hands. The criticism of Wharton has been that he's a bit predictable, fights in straight lines, and I think Reid did enough to take that opening round.
Yes, I would agree with you there, Ian. I think he better work with the jab there from Reid. And he landed a few decent counters as well, and Wharton just fell short, but that was a good opening round, both of them having a good look at each other.
Brian Hughes and Pat Barrett, the former European champion, in the corner with Robin Reid.
There's the good use of the jab. He throws the combination here, but notice how quick he was to tie Wharton up. He doesn't want to be caught inside, especially leave himself open to the left hook of Henry Wharton. There you see it, grabs quickly a hold of Wharton, doesn't want to let him get them arms free.
The build-up to this fight, as we look at the jabs landed in round one, confirming that Reid had the better of that argument. The build-up, as I was saying, has been refreshing. No silly insults, slanging matches. They've both got a lot of respect for each other. Indeed, they're two of the nicest fellows in British boxing. They'll be disguising it pretty well for the next 3/4 of an hour or so. Reid, remember, with the white stripe down his trunk. Sorry, Glenn, just doing the old identification again.
Yes, I was going to say, this is probably the first real acid test for Reid. He hasn't really, caught the public imagination yet, but I think a good win here would do that.
Lovely jab that from Reid, who I think in his mind still feels that there are a lot of doubters, that he hasn't really arrived as the real thing. A lot of people still to be convinced. He aims to convince them.
But I think that was because he was very quickly on the scene, wasn't he?
Lovely left jabbing and boxing from Reid, who's staying on the move all the time. And look, he's moving away all the time, clockwise away from Wharton's left hook.
Good right hand and left hook from Reid, who's really boxing superbly in this round. This is a good... He's boxing with experience here.
And while it's on the outside, Reid is looking the superior technician. Just looking, as he did for the first 4 rounds against Nigel Benn in his first world title opportunity, a shade circumspect Wharton. Maybe he's playing Reid's game a bit too much.
Yes, well, that's often been the criticism of Wharton, that at times he's a little bit one-paced. and he can't really afford to be like that in this fight. He's got to pick the pace up, and he's got to really put good pressure on Reid.
He's trying to box behind his jab at the moment, but I don't know. Maybe he'd be better off just doing his thing, which is walk-in pressure.
Yes, I don't think it's a good point to try and trade jabs. He's got to try and get close, and he's got to throw combinations of punches. He's just getting caught on the way in, Henry Wharton.
Slick strategy, well executed so far by Robin Reid, who is caught by a right hand, though, and there's still a long, long way to go in this story. Well, possibly there is, unless either of them can find a knockout punch or stoppage. Wharton can certainly take a punch, and there's no evidence at all yet about Reid being weak around the chin.
Still, it's very much a battle of the jabs at this point.
And Reid, for my money, looking the better at that game.
Well, I think we suspected that's how it would be. We suspected that Reid would have the better boxing ability, and if he could, you know, if he'd have the patience to do that and just stay behind the jab, which is their game plan, just not to get involved in the fight at all and keep it at long range. You know, if he can carry on doing that, you know, that's the way he can win.
And there it is from the textbook from Robin Reid.
It's a good, long, stiff jab. He's got good variety. Robin Reid, there's that jab that really pushed Henry Wharton off balance. Just missing there with the right hand, but the left hook was a good one. Just put Wharton off balance for a split second.
See, I think the thing with Reid is we don't really know yet how good he is. He is the kind of fighter who just seems to produce something more every time he's asked a different question. Wharton is pretty exposed. You know kind of what you're going to get with him. Round 3, it's due to go 12 with the WBC Super Middleweight Championship on the line. It's a highly competitive division. Nigel Benn's old title, this is, remember. Now, is Wharton going to try something different to change the plot?
Somehow he's got to try and close the distance down a bit quicker, because he's getting caught with the jab, Henry Wharton, but also getting caught as he tries to make that step inwards, you know, with some good counters from Reid.
Just single jabs in the main so far from Wharton, and not really following them up too much, but now he does. As I said, that a two-punch combination almost for the first time from the challenger from York.
That was better from Wharton. He's got to try and keep nice and close and let a lot more punches go than he is at the present.
Reid continuing to rotate away from that left jab, and while he does it, getting in with the odd combination like that, then wheeling away again. It's the right tactics, and it's up to Wharton to find an answer to it.
Yes, it is. Reid's seen the game plan shown by Ben and Eubanks, and I'm sure that's what he's going to try and do.
Big right hand from Wharton. That lifted his army of supporters, and believe me, there are thousands of them in this 9X arena. And again, now this is breakthrough stuff maybe from Wharton. His best passage yet.
Wharton's just trying to pick up the pace a little bit. That's what he's got to try and do, close the distance, start getting more punches on target.
Maybe starting to cut off the corners a little and letting go with right hands, which is what he's starting to do, because that's the way Reid is circling, away from the left hook, and he may make Reid think again. That's a good shot, though, from the champion.
Well, this fight's starting to warm up now. They're getting closer together. More hooks are starting to land.
Reid, I'm sure, is being very careful not to be dragged into a kind of trench warfare battle where he stands slugging toe-to-toe with Wharton, because that would be the challenger's game, you'd think, anyway.
Yes, I think that's what Wharton would like to do. He's strong and he hits hard. He'd want to make it a fight.
That was Wharton's best round yet, but did he do enough to win it?
I'm not sure. It was a good round. It was close. Reid come back with some good work of his own. A very sort of even round. I'd probably score it even, but I think that from the Wharton sense, he's starting to get a little bit closer.
There were hopeful signs in that last round for Wharton.
As he landed there, he didn't quite land flushly with that punch, but he did enough to put Reid on the back foot. I think that's a more promising round for Wharton, who landed there with a good right hand.
The left hand got through. I rather felt the right hit the glove then.
Yes, I think he's got a pretty good defence, Robin Reid, but there was a good one from him, who just slipped through the little gap between the right hand, and that landed on the chin.
Wharton sent out by his trainer Gary Atkin. He's still managed by Mickey Duff. He stayed loyal to Mickey Duff despite all the defections from that camp. And Mickey Duff, who's nearly 68 now, saying a Wharton win would give him almost as much pleasure as anything he'd done in boxing. Now Wharton starting to club away a bit. Now Reid waving him in. Now I just wondered whether, if it got like this, whether Reid would be dragged into some toe-to-toe exchanges. Hasn't happened yet.
Yes, I think that's always the danger, that Reid's pride gets the better of him. He doesn't stick to his boxing as he should and gets dragged into a fight.
It's a sort of fighter's macho pride kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes, I remember very well when Alan Minter did the same against Marvin Hagler, which was a big mistake.
Oh, that's a great right hand though from Reid. Wharton left the gap, but then Wharton finds his own right hand. This is boiling up quite nicely, this is.
Reid not having as much success with his jab now. Wharton just managing to parry it off, just flick it out of the way. Using a better defence now, Wharton.
Wharton made to miss with that right hand. It's so delicately poised. For the most part so far it's been a battle of boxing skills and not a slugging match. Oh, terrific. That was class. Really was from Reid.
Yes, he picked that right hand out very nicely. Not a lot of power in it, but it rocked the head back. But Wharton is doing a lot better with the jab now. Reid's not having as much success.
The suspicion, though, that Reid just has that bit more mobility and faster hands. Good stiff jab from Reid. Now, fascinating round.
Probably just lean towards Wharton there, who was putting the pressure on, got a little bit more success with his jab in that round, and Reid's having to work hard, just going backwards all the time. He didn't have his timing as well in that round.
Watch this classy right from Reid.
Very good right hand. Probably the best punch of the round there. He just found a little gap there and slotted that right hand in. Wharton come back, he kept the pressure on, a steady pressure there to Reid. There's that right hand again. He just picked that little space so well. Just did it on the move. Wasn't a powerful shot, but an eye-catching one.
Tough round to score that one, I would.
It was close. I just lent a little bit for Wharton because of his pressure.
Judges from Belgium, Mexico, and England's Richie Davis scoring. Larry O'Connell, the London referee. Remember Reid, the champion, with the white stripe down the shorts.
And that's how I got it with Reid, just a point in the lead, a drawn third round, and Wharton winning the fourth.
Wharton, for the most part, coming forward now, taking the fight more to Reid and having significantly more success than he was in the opening couple of rounds. So is the tide on the turn? Reid showing his very good amateur skills there to block those punches and parry them.
Wharton is throwing a lot more punches now than he did in the first couple of rounds. Starting to just warm up the sense.
Just the smarter work from Reid so far in this round. Staying on the move, never standing right there in front of Wharton. But Wharton really is a gritty, experienced campaigner. This is his 12th rather championship fight tonight. Not all for world titles, of course, his third for the world crown, as we've been saying. But he's done dozens of rounds at Commonwealth, European level, and now he starts to get through with some body shots. They might slow Reid down.
Good work from Wharton there, just trying to change tactics a little bit, switch to the body.
Wharton coming back well in the second half of the round, getting through with his trademark left hook. Might have shaken Reid up a bit with that, and a right hand to follow it as well.
Yes, I think he got through with one good one, but he was made to miss a few times in there as well.
Reid was involved in a real ding-dong battle in his last title fight against the South African Giovanni Pretorius, but found an absolute peach of a right hand to finish that job. Got in with a right uppercut there, but he can't move Wharton.
Reid missing with those counter punches. And Wharton just putting the pressure on more and more. And that was a better round for Wharton. I think he certainly got that one.
He came on really strong in the second half of the round there, Henry Wharton. And I just wonder now whether those questions we were wondering about are beginning to be asked about Reid. He's never been in here before with somebody hunting him down round after round after round. It's a big test of his temperament and class.
Yes, and we can see here how Henry Wharton's doing. He's getting closer. Reid here tucking up, keeping his hands up, making Wharton miss there, but Wharton's strength starting to pay dividends. He's starting to get closer and closer to Robin Reid. I have the fight poised dead level at this moment. Really is a good fight, and you just sense that at some point this is going to develop into a real slugging match. Reid trying to box, but you just feel it's going to happen.
Punches landed, a total of 79 Reid and 74 Wharton, says the computer. That shows how close this is. It's on a knife edge as we go into round 6. Reid turning southpaw. So he's going to try something different. Will he confuse Wharton or himself?
That's how I have it in dead level there after 5 rounds.
Me too. I think that's the general feeling around ringside at the moment.
Well, I'm not sure the tactics of going southpaw, because the left hook's a good punch against the southpaw, and Wharton possesses a very good one indeed.
Reid has done this to some effect before. Did it quite a lot on the night he won the title famously in Milan against Vincenzo Nardiello, when Marvin Hagler, no less, was there to tell him what a good performance it was. A bit more tentative with the southpaw jab as it is now, Reid. And I think Wharton's wondering what this southpaw business is all about, and that's made him a bit cautious too.
But he did land a good right hand there, and Reid just give him a little nod to say, yeah, you call me. There's not a great deal of action in this round. They're both standing off each other.
It's the quietest round so far in a fascinating fight. Gone back to orthodox again, Reid, leading with the left hand, which is his usual. Oh, that's a terrific countering left hand from Reid. Real stiff jab, sort of a half smile played around the lips of Wharton, acknowledging that he'd been caught. Nothing but total respect between these two. They like each other, two fellas from the North Country.
Yes, he seemed to get quite a bit of power into that left jab there, Reid.
And the right hand wasn't a bad one either. Scoring punches. Reid, is he going to nick this round in the last minute or so with his boxing? The right hand to the body wasn't a bad shot either.
Certainly he's a lot better when he keeps himself nice and busy, working behind the jab, Robin Reid.
Nice right hand as well. It's a better round for Reid. You just wondered whether Wharton was beginning to get to him in that fifth round. But he's re-established himself quite well. I think Reid won that round probably in the last minute of it. Nothing much happened for the first 2 minutes.
Yes, very quiet in the first 2 minutes, but Reid then started to use the jab to good effect.
Let's see what another world champion at this weight, Steve Collins, is making of this. He's with Adam Smith.
Well, Steve, this is bringing into the fight of the night. How do you have it?
Well, I think Reid got off to a very good start. He was busy in the beginning of the fight, but he's starting to slow down now, and he's giving Wharton time to get his big shots off. I think Robin needs to get more busy. He's just not active enough. He's given, Wharton too much time to put together these hard combinations.
How do you see it going? Do you think Wharton now will, it's his fight now?
I think Wharton had a good fifth round, and the sixth round was fairly even, so I see the fight fairly even, but definitely Robin Reid was winning in the beginning when he was busier, but Robin Reid has slowed down now. He's not active enough, and he's given Wharton more room and more time to get his shots off.
One answer, Steve, Robin or Henry?
At the moment it's equal, but if Robin gets busy again, he can win the fight back, but if he doesn't get busy, Wharton's going to come on strong.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thanks very much, fellas. 92 to 88 landed so far. Reid, remember, the champion with the white stripe down those black trunks. A former Ladbrokes cashier who took up boxing because he was a flop at karate. He certainly hasn't been a flop at boxing. Wharton, one of 11 children from a travelling family. What happens in this second half of the fight? This is a favourite round of Reid's to win. He's beaten both Nardiello and Pretorius in the 7. So far, Glenn, it's been a thoughtful affair, not the all-guns blazing spectacle that some might have been hoping for, but we may get that later on, who knows.
Yes, I think they're both concentrating on jab work, with Reid just getting the better of the jab. I mean, I think it is Reid's plan to keep behind the jab and not make it a spectacular fight, where Wharton wants to mix it up, and you see as soon as he gets close, he springs into action trying to use that left hook.
Wharton very anxious to try to rough Reid up at close range, but the eye-catching shot in that little interchange was that right hand from Reid, I thought. Got a great chin, though, hasn't he, Wharton?
Very good chin. He's been a very good professional a really likable person as well, Henry Wharton. They both are, both really nice guys, but it's all business in there.
Wharton has never been stopped in his whole 8-year pro career. Reid unbeaten in 24. Right to the body from Reid, following a good right cross too. Wharton's trying to wade away to the body. Trying to slow Reid down.
You know, I think Wharton just concentrating on his jab too much, where he needs to get closer. I think this is similar to what happened when he fought Ben and Eubank, where he stood back and he was dominated behind the jab. He's got to try and put the pressure more on Reid.
I thought just the cleaner work from Reid. Personally, I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Yes, I would agree with you. I think I would give it to Reid simply on the good use of the jab, which was the best punch throughout from either of them. Reid used a good jab and rocked the head back of Wharton several times. That was eye-catching. It was good boxing work, and that's what he's got to try and do. I'm sure Brian Hughes will be pleased with him in the corner.
Henry, pardon? All right. There's one judge got nothing in it. You've got to do the work. You understand that? You're capable of doing it. Come on, Henry, you're capable of doing it.
Mickey Duff telling Henry Wharton, there's one judge that's got nothing in it. You've got to do the work. I don't think Mickey Duff knows what the judges' scorecards are, but it's all part of this psychology.
Sure, he's just trying to psych Wharton up and tell him the right sort of thing to motivate him, get him to do a little more work. There's Wharton trying to rough it up a little bit and make it hard for Reid inside.
8th round. Reid, remember, with the white stripe down the shorts, if any of you out there still need the identification. Reid's super middleweight world title on the line here. Can Wharton become champion at the 3rd time of asking? To blaze away to the body at close range. His battle plan is quite clear, I think. He's going to hunt Reid down and look to wear him down, particularly in the late stages. And remember, it's worth repeating, Reid has never been beyond 8 rounds before. We're not saying he doesn't have the stamina. What we are saying is we don't know if he has.
That's right, and that shows his inexperience at this sort of level in World Championship fights. But Wharton is making it easy for Reid to keep to his game plan and keep behind his jab, because Wharton's not getting close enough into Reid.
Really good sharp right hand counter from Reid just now. Is Wharton applying enough pressure for his battle plan of wearing Reid down?
No, I don't think he is, and I think he's concentrating too much on his own jab, trying to match Reid with jabs. He's not winning that battle. And, for me, he needs to get close and start letting a lot more leather fly in the hope of landing with a big punch.
Reid just outboxing Wharton in this round a bit, making him miss. Question has to be asked here, is Wharton fighting Reid's fight?
Yes, I would say that he certainly is. He's given Reid the room and the time to box his fight and to use the jab, as you see him doing there. Wharton coming in too much without throwing punches.
Has to abandon the attack, Wharton, because Reid, on the move, found him with a right hand. "25 seconds left in this round. And Wharton still comes forward. There's a relentlessness about him. He wants this so bad, and he finds Reid with a left hook late in the round, but Reid is matching him.
Again, Reid throws that jab with a lot of power in it.
Terrific action, and Robin Reid got the best of it over that 3 minutes.
Yes, Wharton picked it up there. He's trying to push Reid as hard as he can, and that was better from Wharton, but it just brought better work out from Reid, whose jab was excellent in that round, and the counter punches were good. And when they got close together, Reid was coming out with the better punches inside as well. So he's boxing a very good fight at this point, Robin Reid.
Well, I think in this fight, Robin Reid is showing everybody what a good champion he is. Whether he holds on to the championship, of course, we don't know, but he's produced some pretty smart stuff, hasn't he, so
He's
far?
shown the class that got him a bronze medal in the Olympics, and the class that got him a world championship so early when he had to go to Italy and take the title of Vincenzo Nardiello, and he's shown that sort of class here, boxing a very good fight here, Robin Reid, at the moment.
9th round, new territory for Reid.
You wouldn't think at this point there would be any stamina problems, because Wharton hasn't pushed and made it that hard a fight, you know, that would really worry the fitness or the stamina of Reid. He's boxed pretty much, you know, as he wants Reid here, and he hasn't pushed him too hard.
And Reid's pulling away on your scorecard and mine at the moment.
Yes, three points ahead. I now have Reid, and we're getting his boxing going very well.
But what happens in these final 4 rounds? It's not too late, certainly, for Wharton, and who knows, this may be his time of the fight. I'm sure Reid must have aimed all his trading at knowing this probably would go the full 12-round distance. He's looked at Wharton's record. He's seen that people like Ben couldn't stop him, and Eubank, oh, that's a big right. Wharton left himself open. Just occasionally, Wharton's defence starting to look a bit sloppy.
It is. That was a very good punch there, just doubling up on that hook there, the right hand, and both of them landing body and head.
And if we believe the press conference publicity, Frank Warren in the Reid camp and Mickey Duff in the Wharton camp have had a £50,000 side bet on this. Winner take all.
But I think the one thing we know is Wharton still has the power. Tremendous left hook, and he's got to be looking to try and land that punch. Everything could change if he lands with that correctly.
Wharton is stalking all the time, but Reid is staying on the move, and while Wharton's thinking about letting the punch, Reid's letting a couple go, and then he's up on his bike again.
Yes, the better, crisper punches, the more eye-catching punches are still coming from Reid.
And at the moment, we're getting a run of rounds that seem to be going the champion's way. But don't write Wharton off yet. Big left hand as well from Reid, who looks crisp and confident at the moment. Looks like a fighter who's getting better with every fight and who knows what he's doing. And I think he's won 4 in a row now, Glenn.
Yes, exactly as I had it in the last 4 rounds. For me, all going to Robin Reid, who's boxing very well behind the jab, and when one comes in, good punches there as well.
Now, Reid's been in 2 scheduled 12-rounders. He never got to the 12 rounds. Wharton's had 11, but 5 times he's actually completed 12 rounds as well. Reid, as we've said, has never been beyond 8 before, so he's, as we've been explaining to you, in new territory here. No sign of him flagging so far, though.
No, I don't think Wharton's exerting enough pressure on Reid to really test the stamina out. He's giving Reid too much time to control with the jab. Now you see the eye-catching punches are coming from Reid. Yeah, you see getting in with a good left hand and then a little right hand. And Wharton just throwing arms and not connecting.
10th round. Now might we see Wharton here, who must have been appraised of the situation in his corner with Denny Mancini and Gary Atkin and Mickey Duff in there. I wonder if they've said to him, look, you've got to jump on him and really go for it now.
Well, I'm sure he knows himself this could well be his very last chance. Good right hand there from Reid, similar to the one he caught Pretorius with there for Wharton's chin. Stood up to it well.
Yeah, Reid was looking for another one. Wharton wasn't buying that. Wharton looking a wee bit more tired now. He's taken a few in these last 4 rounds. Oh, lovely right uppercut. Then a left hook from Reid, who's starting to turn on the style in cameos. Wharton has Reid there, covering up. Couldn't really get in the clean punch he was looking for to the chin. Reid winks at somebody at ringside. Wasn't you, was it?
I don't think so. It looks like there'll be a cut on the bridge of the nose now on Wharton.
Low blow from Reid. Larry O'Connell hasn't been needed that much. It's been fairly clean stuff. The Wharton fans are beseeching their man to really start letting the leather fly. Cut by the nose, looks pretty horrible for Wharton, who's hit with a right hand and hurt. He staggered there. I thought he was going to go for a moment, but that great resilience kept him there. But Reid is in charge big time at the moment.
Well, Reid, he's kept nice and patient here. He didn't rush in. He knows Wharton still has firepower left. He can obviously feel the strength of Wharton. He's just biding his time, landing good solid punches here, Reid.
Well, Wharton knew that Reid would be good, but I bet he never thought he'd be this good.
Good defense there from Reid on the ropes, just bobbing and weaving, missing them punches.
Some of the people at the back of the hall think these shots from Wharton, when Reid is on the ropes, are actually landing, but he's covering up quite superbly for the most part.
Went for a big punch there, Reid, but missed wildly.
Wharton again looking to unload on him, but not really getting through in truth.
But Reid looking a little tired in there as well.
Are those legs beginning to stiff up a bit for Reid? Is there hope still for Wharton, who's behind on the scorecards? Probably lost that round again. I think we're getting to the stage where Wharton needs the knockout, and he's got a nasty damage to the nose.
Yes, he's got damage. He got hit with some heavy punches there in that round. 50% just over success rate for Reid. Very good, very quality. 32% for Wharton, so there's a big difference there. But he was landing some very hard punches there. And at one point there, the right hand, the legs go. He didn't follow it up. Reid, maybe he just missed an opportunity there, but he certainly looked hurt. Wharton, that was a very heavy punch to the side of the head. Look at him stumble forward there.
I think what Reid is showing in this fight, though, is what a very cool, composed boxing brain he has.
Yes, he's showing that, maybe he is the finished article, that he's got the boxing brain, he's got the power. He's boxing very well at this moment.
There can be little doubt that Robin Reid is in a significant points lead as they come out for the 11th round. Reid with that white stripe down his shorts. Then has him in a 5-point lead. 5 rounds, if you like.
Yes, winning everything from round 6 onwards, Reid. I think many would expect Wharton to come on strong at the end of the fight, but Reid's been the one who's got better as the rounds have gone on.
Reid, who does his training right here in Manchester at the Collyhurst gym with Brian Hughes. Oh, a good uppercut there, testing the chin of Reid. Reid not looking quite so mobile. I think he's beginning to tire a bit too. But Wharton is a bit unsteady on his legs, I think.
Yeah, 3 nice, classy punches there from Reid. But Wharton's really trying to exert the pressure here, going all out to try and land a punch.
Could Wharton turn it all around with one jackpot punch, you wonder? Oh, Wharton clapping him across the head there.
Getting back on the jab now, Reid. Just trying to keep Wharton at bay, just steadying behind that jab and using it very well.
The Yorkshire fans are chanting, Henry, Henry. There's already been one Yorkshire winner tonight with Prince Nassim. And Wharton letting them all go, getting caught with a counter, but throwing in the kitchen sink.
Full credit to Wharton, he's pushing Reid all the way.
It's been his best round in a while, this Wharton. At least he's really getting close to Reid and throwing some punches. Reid continues to catch him with these crisp little counters. Still light on his feet and strong looking, Reid, isn't he? I wondered if he was starting to tire at one point in that last round, but it doesn't look like it, does it?
No, it doesn't. He looked down at the corner just a little while ago. Brian Hughes said side to side, and immediately he got boxing again, Reid. Wharton's exerted a lot of pressure in this round.
Again, Reid covering up and still coming out of his shell to find those neat little punches. But Wharton, good left uppercut. Good round, this one. Oh, there was a big right from Wharton now. Did he get through to Reid? There was a clinch. And I just wondered for a moment whether Reid's leg stiffened. There was a big right hand from Wharton.
That was a good round from Wharton. He knows obviously he's a long way behind, and he pushed hard in that round. He sensed he maybe shook Reid a few times during that round. Reid tried just to keep his boxing going, but Wharton was beginning to get through the guard and get to Reid a little bit.
No telling how the judges have this, of course.
There's that good jab. He's used that so often. But I think for the most part, the pressure was good from Wharton and probably clinched him that round.
He maybe needed a bit more of that kind of do-or-die stuff earlier on.
Yes, I think that's been a problem in a couple of his fights. Certainly the bend, he didn't start to do the heavy work till late in the fight when it was too late. This could be the case here.
Jabs landed, 106 Reid to 67 Wharton. Last round, WBC super middleweight title fight. Crowd here absorbed in this, many of them on their feet applauding the two fighters. They've enjoyed this, we all have.
Yes, I think you couldn't fail to enjoy this. This has been good boxing, good pressure. Both showed very...
For the most part, Reid's outboxed him, but Wharton still believes, even going into the final minute.
And Reid just keeping to his boxing. This has been a good, patient display. He's boxed well throughout, never getting involved in a fight. He thought he was going to have to go the 12 rounds, and that's the way it's going, using the jab well. A good right hand there from Reid.
And did somebody say earlier on, there's a stamina doubt about Robin Reid? Forget that one for all future references. Plenty of stamina there. His legs are still very, very fresh. He's been dancing through this last round. He's answered that question. He's answered a lot of questions. It's been a superb performance, this, by Reid. Last quarter of a minute. And if Wharton was to produce something now, it really would be mega dramatic.
This has really come of age in this fight. It's been a good display. Wharton's pushed him throughout with the boxing. The better boxing has always come from Robin Reid.
The final bell, and I think everybody in the arena knows that Robin Reid has done enough. Wharton's usual extremely game effort, but for the most part, until late on, he took on Reid in a boxing match. There's Reid's mum, Lynn. She thinks her son has held on to his title, and so do we.
Yes, a beautiful display of boxing, very patient, just kept, he knew what his game plan was, he kept to it throughout, no matter what pressure Henry Wharton put on him. The jab was always the superior weapon for Reid. He used it very well. Also, you know, he had the better eye-catching punches as Wharton came to him, and that was a very good performance. That's how I've got it, with a comfortable lead for Reid. 5 rounds I give him.
And I concur with that, just looking at my own. I've got an identical scorecard, 117 to 112. Let's show you some more statistics from that fight. We think Reid landed 230 to Wharton's 191, but look at his punch economy, much, much better. Didn't waste nearly so many. I thought really that was the best performance of Robin Reid's career so far. I think he proved there that he is a quality operator, and that has to be good, doesn't it, for British boxing? A young fighter coming through. He's won a world championship when nobody expected him to. People said, was it a bit of a freak? Because, you know, he beat Vincenzo Nardiello, and people said, well, there's always a doubt about his heart, and he bottles it a bit. Then he beat Pretorius, who was in the wrong weight. Now he's fought a full-blown super middle, tough one like Wharton, and we think he's won. We don't know he's won. The scorecards have got to be collated, but let's hear. Wharton's reaction at the end wasn't that of a man who thought he won the fight.
No, certainly he didn't look, it didn't, you know, his body language didn't look like he'd won the fight, where Reid's did. I think Reid was happy with his performance. It went to plan. He got off with the better punches. The jab worked so well, and I think any critics, any doubters, you know, will start to believe in this young man. He's really boxing well, and I think there's still a lot more to see from Robin Reid.
We are still waiting for the scorecards to be collated. I think they're just about ready for us, are they? Michael Puffer's up there somewhere. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecards, on behalf of everyone here in this arena tonight, and the WBC, and indeed everybody from the BBBOC, a round of applause for both champion and challenger in this brilliant super middleweight championship bout. Here are the score totals. Reid Solis scores the bout 114 to 114. He has it even. Daniel Van Wheeler scores it 117 to 113. And Richie Davies scores it 118 to 111 for the winner. And still,
Reid has won it. Reid retains his title. Look at Mum. Well, this, I think, is the night that Robin Reid has really arrived in the big time. And I think this crowd have absolutely lapped this up tonight. It was a really excellent fight.
They appreciate it. It was the good fight we thought it would be. Wharton, he did his best. He tried throughout. He was very game. He really wanted to win this title on his 3rd attempt and probably his last attempt. But he just couldn't get to it. He couldn't get past the good boxing of Robin Reid.
Okay, let's go back to the boys up in the studio for a moment. In a moment, we'll try to have a little chat with Robin Reid and maybe Henry Wharton as well.
Thanks to Glenn and to Ian for just a moment or two. A captivated audience here in the studio, no doubt as elsewhere. Barry McGuigan, Nicky Piper and Jim Watt. Barry.
Well, I thought he boxed absolutely marvellously well. I predicted in the paper this morning that he would box, and he kept stuck to his tactics and used the ring and used his left jab and got back to his amateur tactics, that he would win this fight, but it wouldn't be easy, and they called it exactly right. But he boxed marvellously well. He showed courage, and I've criticised him in the past, but he deserves tremendous praise tonight.
Thanks, Barry. Jim.
Well, I thought that was a beautifully controlled 12-round campaign. Wharton was the one with the experience, but Reid was the guy who imposed his tactics on the other guy. At no time did he allow Wharton to rattle him. Wharton ran out of ideas from halfway through the fight. Reid stuck to what he was doing. It wasn't until desperation set in that Wharton had a couple of rounds. I thought it was a clear points victory for Robin Reid. I don't agree with the judge who had them even.
Thank you, Jim, and a quick word from Nicky Piper.
Well, he proved tonight that not only can he box and he can punch, he can take a good punch and he can go 12 rounds. And they're the questions we were asking. We were wondering, could he do that against Henry Wharton? He's done it, and the future looks good for Robin Reid.
Thank you to Nicky. More from the three gentlemen in just a moment or two, but let's get a word with a very impressive champion with Ian Dar.
Well, here is Robin Reid, still the WBC super middleweight champion of the world. That looked, from our eyes at ringside, like a masterful boxing display.
I said right from the very beginning, been working hard in the gym. We studied Henry, we knew it was going to be a tough, hard fight. You know, when people criticise him and saying, oh, he's one-dimensional, you know, this is going to be... It was a tough fight. The people were right. It was my toughest fight so far. But I told you I had a game plan and a strategy, and we stuck with it, and that's what came through. I can also just say thanks to the public and the Manchester people, and Henry's people, because of me. That was a tough, hard fight, and there was a couple of times when I thought Henry, you know, he took some good digs, looked like he was going to go. I took some good digs, and it's the crowds and the, you know, and the jeering what makes you dig deep, you know, and that's what kept me going.
He was putting you under tremendous pressure there in the late rounds. Was there any point there, tell us, where you felt as if it might be falling apart for you?
No, we didn't think it was falling apart. Like I said, you know, I had to dig deep. I'm not being funny or no disrespect to Henry, but I had an idea that was going to be a strategy. You know, he'd try and box me for the first couple of rounds. He knew I hadn't done 12 rounds before, and I could tell he was trying to box me for the first few rounds, and then come strong in the last 6 rounds or so. But, you know, I stuck to my game plan, and I came through, and I'm just glad I'm still champion.
I know this is a thing with you, that you feel you maybe have not got all the credit you've deserved so far. There have been people say, oh, he's a bit of a pretty boy, he doesn't like it when it gets down to the trenches, but I think you rather answered that tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, I can't help the way I look. I'm sure there's people out there who appreciate the way I look, but the thing is, you know, I'm not going to get drawn into a fight just to keep, you know, to keep the boxing pundits happy. You say I'm a pretty boy and, you know, I spend too much with my looks rather than my boxing. It's not true. At the end of the day, I was gifted with my looks and I was gifted with my boxing, so why throw them both out the window? Why not gel them together? You know, and that's what I've done, and I'm still a champion. And, you know, if the formulas that I'm doing are still working, then, you know, they can't rid me anymore.
Let's bring in Henry Wharton here. Henry, just talk about the scorecards first of all. Were you happy that you feel you'd lost the fight?
Not until the last stage of the fight. I thought I was in the fight. I thought I was ahead. I don't know about all you had the scorecard. After 4 or 5 rounds, I was doing real well. Everyone underestimates me for my boxing ability. They say I lead with my face. I did do in the last stages, like, but all due to Robin, like, strong lad.
You seem to try to sort of box him for the early part of the fight and only really sort of got back to your thing, putting on the pressure late on. Do you wish you'd done that earlier on?
No, I wish I'd have boxed all the way, wouldn't I? I thought I was in the lead at first, so... But no, he raised his game like a champion. All the best to him.